about how do you feel that human-centered leadership looks like in the age of AI?
Yeah, and I'll put a disclaimer out there. I am by no means the expert when it
Right.
comes to
Okay.
AI,
Yeah,
right?
I
I'm
get it.
I'm just as curious as everyone else, and
Hmm.
but like I said, coming from the approach or the perspective of leadership, right? This
Hmm.
is where I'm leaning in a bit more into it versus holding back, because if you think about, in times past, other revolutions, the printing, the industrial revolution, the the
Even
individuals, the humans.
right,
Go ahead. Even
right. Even when the computer came into the
right. We,
workplace.
we we had time. We
Yeah.
had time to think and sit back and get our strategy together. But
Hmm.
if you think about it, Chat GPT-4 reached 100 million users in 2 months back in 2023.
Wow.
That it took 75 years for the telephone to do the same thing, reach
Mm.
100 million users. So we don't have that luxury of time anymore. We're in a compressed
Hmm.
revolution. So today, what I would say in this, human-centered leadership is really leaning in, right? It's having those conversations, those meaningful conversations, leaning into discomfort. And the beauty of having AI as an operating system, it can help you with those
Hmm.
tough moments, those tough
Hmm.
conversations. You don't outsource it, but you leverage it to really help sharpen the edges, if you will, around leadership. And I think it's going to be even more critical. Here we are in this age where, we're talking about technology heavily, but the thing that's going to matter most is are our hearts and minds,
Right.
and how we connect with other individuals as we do introduce these other things into the workplace and in our society. So that's what I ponder. How do we become even more a leader who balances heart and mind, knowing when this is something that needs to be thought through, or this is something that requires more empathy. Empathy is not going away. I think we're going to have to
Right. Right.
level up on that even more so as we
Right.
try to navigate through the nuance of what's changing these
Right.
days and the dynamics and how to work with various, not only different generations, but now
Mhm.
humans plus other as we
Right.
go forward.
Yeah. Because I have a question here, Lakita, about
Mhm.
that, talking about emotional intelligence versus
Yeah.
AI. And you feel where should leaders rely on empathy instead of
Yeah, that's a good one. Um, I actually don't think it's too much different from what we're doing today. I
Okay.
think it's like turn up the volume on it,
Okay.
because I still think there's an opportunity for leaders to, be even more empathetic today
Mhm.
in the workplace and, as we are moving forward. But certainly not outsourcing empathy to automation.
Right. Right.
Yet,
That,
go
that,
ahead.
that's interesting. I was seeing something the other day and thinking about the HR space
Hmm.
and how, when it comes to recruitment,
Yeah.
how AI has stepped in and it was from a candidate's perspective of
Yeah.
sending in a resume or and this AI is catching it and reading it and either you go in the A pile or the B pile, just that
Yeah.
simple. But that reliance on AI to sort out, and seen in my career, and I'm sure you've seen in yours, where not relying on that, a lot of times you miss a lot of talent because you've programmed, the technology has programmed to look for certain things.
Right.
And then I think the nuances of what a person may have as far as talent is concerned, I don't see, AI kicking that out because you have programmed it. Just look for, this is the guardrails. This is what we want. This is what I'm looking for. So that,
Doing exactly what
yeah,
the human asked it to do.
right, right. And so that's one of the things when it comes to the empathy, because I know from my experience in recruitment and stuff, a lot of times it's just, you know, it may not be perfect, but when it looks at what you say you want in qualifications or responsibilities or whatever, but that person is a good fit because if you look at it from an empathy way, you could just tell that they're going to be the hard worker. They're going to be somebody who's going to get up to speed or whatever they may be lacking. You know what I'm saying? Not
Mhm.
perfect. And so that's why I'm concerned. That's one of my concerns in thinking about this automation is it can't think with empathy as far as catching something or that could be perfect, could be a perfect match, but is not an automation perfect match. How
Yeah.
we get around that? See what I
Yeah, that's going to be, part of the challenge. And I know even in the circle, this the AI leadership circle, that's something I think
mean?
once we can carve out, all right, what is the work that's truly able to be
Mhm,
automated, right? And put
mhm,
that to the side, right? Hopefully that frees up capacity for
yeah,
some other things.
mhm,
And then you have your other list of what is the really purpose-driven work that I want to do. And it's really going to be important as we move forward to decide and not just simply just just hand it all over.
mhm,
Hey, automation would be good here, but
mhm,
not here. We want to keep the human in the loop here because
mhm.
there's just nuance that could be missed
Right.
to your point. So I think that's going to be part of the challenge because once you start automating things, right, you're looking at all this productivity time you're getting back and you're being very efficient. It
Mhm.
might be hard to get off that train and
Yeah.
stop and say, hey, okay, that is automated, but these
Mhm.
things here, we need to keep the human in the loop because
Right.
this is that higher value work, that work that really matters and can make a difference. And if automated and no human eyes are touching or seeing, could really, miss a whole gap of opportunity. So I
Mhm.
think that's going to be part of our challenge, like
Yeah.
just deciding. And
Right.
that's really what I want us to start thinking about.
Mhm.
Where does it make the most sense to automate and where
Mhm.
does it not?
Mhm. Hmm. Maybe you have some thoughts on this. I'll ask you, do you think that AI can improve executive decision making? And yes or no? And either way, why?
So I would say yes.
Okay.
It can improve executive decision making because what AI has the ability to do is provide you a lot more context and information,
Hmm.
much quicker than you could get it on your own.
Hmm.
So if the leader or the exec is starting with their own point of view and a position, they could certainly use AI as a coach or a mentor. Hey, AI, ask me some questions, along this line that I'm not thinking about to maybe look at it from a different perspective or play the advocate that's opposed to this idea and ask me some questions and identify the loopholes that maybe I've missed. So, indeed, I do think that it can help leaders with decision making
Okay.
if used in the right way. Again, not outsourcing everything to the machine, but definitely using it in a way to amplify the
Okay.
leader.
Like a, yeah, so like a partner, sort of like
Like
a
a
partner.
partner,
Yeah.
indeed.
Sure. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm thinking of doing XYZ. What would be some pitfalls or what would be the benefit of this or something like that, just to have that sort of a sounding board, like you said, sort of like a sounding board.
How about this? AI, from everything that you know about me as a leader,
Hmm.
right? What would you suggest as I embark on an engagement to do X, Y, Z? So,
Hmm.
really letting the machine take all of what it's gathered and just service up like a mirror to you. Well,
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
leader, as someone who is focused on people and a coach and wanting to make sure
Hmm.
the human is in the midst of things, you
Hmm.
might want to frame up something from this way. So that's where we're looking at AI as an operating system, something that, really expands beyond just a simple tool, but can
Right.
really integrate and bring together data from just all that it collected from our engaging with it to
Hmm.
and really be our partner, provide a different point of view and perspective, and ask some smart questions to think about as we're moving forward. So yeah, I like that example.
Yeah, maybe we have to that would see, I think about it. It would have to take some programming, of course,
Well,
in
it's the
order to,
prompting, right?
yeah,
You got to have
right,
those smart prompts.
right, those smart prompts. What role does judgment play when AI and intuition conflict? What do you
Oh,
think?
oh, oh. Wow, now that's a heavy one. I like that though. Hmm.
Any thoughts about that? Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So being a coach, right, where,
Yeah.
trusting our intuition and
Mm-hmm.
particularly when we're in a one-on-one conversation and letting that help with the dance of the
Mm-hmm.
coaching conversation, I would hate to even think about giving up what
Yeah.
my intuitive hits are telling me. So
Uh-huh.
I think it's actually going to come down to the individual, to really um decide for themselves,
Okay.
hey, this is in conflict with what I'm really feeling internally. For this particular situation, am I okay with giving up my internal leadership nudge
Mm-hmm.
and, relying on this external source? Or am I, solid and being able to stand firm on, what I'm feeling, what's resonating inside so
Mm-hmm.
that what I go forth with is in alignment to who I am as a leader.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be based on the individual and what you're willing to sacrifice when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to, that deeply, what do I call it? That loyal friend, our intuition.
Okay. Another thought I had is a new leader coming on, understanding, not quite sure yet, has still have their sea legs,
Mhm.
and concerned about their judgment. Am I making the right decision? Because my way of thinking about leadership is, you learn as you go. It's
Yeah,
not something that you just are born with. It's something that you continually learn
yeah,
and
maybe.
develop and develop as a leader. So when I'm thinking about, the role that AI might play, it's a new leader, not quite sure, has to make judgment plays. What is there? Do you have any thoughts? I was just trying to think, well, how could AI maybe help me? I know we talked about using it as a sounding board, um, but any other way that AI could play a role in my judgment as a new leader? Maybe I don't know, maybe pull information from I shouldn't say seasoned, from a leader who has had influence or well respected, and ask. I can't talk to that person. Okay, they're, whatever. But AI, give me some information maybe about that person that could help with my judgment play. Do you see anything like that happening?
Yeah, for things like that, and particularly as being coaches, I think there's like multi-modality,
Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
yeah, work with a coach, have a mentor, or multiple, right? Topic
Right.
specific mentors, and utilize AI as an operating system to
Hmm.
really help you, first establish who do I want to be, right? In
Right.
this
Yep.
leadership role, right? What's important to me? What are
Right.
my values? And then from that place, what is the gap that I'm trying to solve? What's the problem? Well, I want to be a servant leader, or I want to be a leader who's high on empathy, and then use the machine AI then to help with ideas. Or if I was a leader who was seen as empathetic, yet able to meet my numbers and
Mhm.
lead the business forward, what would I be doing? Or who would I be engaging with? How
Mhm.
would I approach working with and engaging with my colleagues and the team members in the organization? So yes,
Mhm.
using AI, but first establishing who you are first and what is the problem that you want to solve versus just allowing it to create this persona that
Right.
might be very far removed from who you actually are.
Could be.
So I
Could
just
be.
I would always come back to the starting
Mhm.
point is,
Mhm.
really identifying, the goals that you have as a leader, who
Mhm.
you want to be and how you want to play in this space of AI, and then use the tool to amplify you, but not at the foregoing of the other humans that could be useful, such as a coach and a
Right.
mentors and
Mhm.
others.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit more about coaching and development in AI because
Mhm.
I had some questions around that too.
Yeah.
Um, what do you see as risks of replacing human coaching conversations with an AI tool? Do you see any, what are the risks that
Yeah,
you
I
see?
know that's a hotly discussed topic these days.
Is it?
Um,
Okay.
AI is, it's effective because it can do some things pretty quickly and get some
Mm-hmm.
really great answers from multiple sources, and
Mm-hmm.
that is dynamite. That's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. I haven't yet seen AI be able to kind of be that mirror for someone and help them to hold themselves accountable to the things that they want to say, that continuity week to week, month to month.
Mm-hmm.
Quite haven't seen AI itself, the bot, the algorithm, be able to do that for individuals. So for me, that would be a gap if I'm only using, AI as my coach. Okay, great. But who's really checking in and serving as my mirror and helping me to hold myself accountable? I don't know
Oh,
that the algorithm is doing that.
right, right. That the
Who knows
technology
what the
can do
future
that.
holds, but
Mm-hmm.
that's a risk that I
Mm-hmm.
see.
Mm-hmm.
And what about when
Mm-hmm.
I, sound like or I'm saying things that really could be a warning sign for danger?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Who's going to take the action
right,
to call in authorities or
right.
whatever might be needed because of what's being said. So,
Yeah.
yeah, those are some of my early thoughts on that.
Okay. Yeah.
What
I
do you
just
think?
I think so I th I think that there's no at the there really you can't replace human interaction. To me, it's like you have to, even though AI may be good in analyzing some benefits for the human coaching conversation, um, I still think nothing will replace having that one-on-one human interaction. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to coaching, it it is about that one-on-one human connection. And AI is a tool. So it may be a way to analyze your notes. Um, it may be a way to give you some benefits of the coaching engagement, but it's never going to, I don't see it, I don't think I would want to use it as a tool to say, here's an outline or here's a script or whatever for your human interaction.
Mm,
Because everyone's so unique. Everyone's unique.
mhm,
And so that
mhm.
tool can't read. I don't care how many, what did you say the other day? You said so many people, million people had jumped on Chat GPT
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
thing. It does,
100 million users in
yeah,
2 months. Yeah.
right. In 2 months, that's just not gonna, it just can't replace that human interaction. It just
Mhm.
can't to me because we're all human. So from that, I see the risk of if someone's relying on coming up with what the conversation should be or how the flow of the conversation should go, relying on AI, that is taking away that human element, that human connection element in coaching. And I would never want to see that. So
Yeah.
that's the risk that I see. I don't know
Hmm.
if they've even thought about it or it's something that they already have something that can help you in that way. It's just that would be, like you said in the very beginning, how can I use it, not look at AI as an operating system, not replacing. And to me, that would be replacing. To
Yeah.
that would be, I would, no, that's
I don't know
replacing.
if you heard the other day, I think it was the
Hmm.
organization Anthropic. They're like trying to get folks to slow down the uh, iterations and progress of AI because
Hmm.
of the dangers. And,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
now it's like really getting out of control. So
Hmm. Hmm.
let's see, where that all goes and evolves because
Hmm.
the one thing
Yeah.
about AI, it's recursive. And that's a new word that I learned. So
What is
being
recursive?
recursive.
Yeah. What does that
Recursive
mean?
means it's something that's able to continue to accelerate itself, to like get
Okay.
better and better on its own. So it's the first technology to be able to do that itself, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
usually, you have one technology and then another comes in and replaces it. But
Mm-hmm.
AI can continue to, get even better and better on its own, which I think is now what Anthropic is leading to. That could be an issue with
I,
as we move forward. So
I think
not,
so.
I'm not sure where this is heading or what's going to happen in terms of slowing down the research and the the new iterations of AI. But I thought that was pretty fascinating to hear an organization want to slow
Hmm.
some things down.
Right, right. Well, you know what? That's to me, that's thought provoking. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah,
thought provoking to say that, you know what, it's great, but it could also lead us down a rabbit hole. You know what I mean? And it could lead uh, something that can just recreate itself or re-educate it, just grow and it can be a little scary because
the
then it can get, and I'm just thinking about, I'm just,
movies we've
Kurt,
seen, right?
I'm thinking about movies where you've seen this happen. And
Oh
but it's
boy,
not far-fetched. You know what I'm saying? It's really
not
not
anymore.
far-fetched. It's not anymore. When the movies came out, it was a little bit of sci-fi kind of thing,
Right.
but
Yeah,
we're there. We're
we
kind
are
of,
here.
and so who and that, it's all about that. Who, like I told you, like that HR class and AI, it's like who is going to be the keeper of letting, how far we let AI go. And
Yeah,
everybody, we're all on the bandwagon. I mean, we're adapting. We have
we
to.
are.
We have to adapt because it's here and it's not going away. But we need to, you're right, think about what we need to do to keep it safe.